Hello everybody, my name is Ekman, and welcome to Bedrot, a horror game where you just sit in bed, do nothing, and rot. And I guess that's it, that's just the name of the game. And that's actually what it actually is, so without further ado, let's begin. Okay, this game contains swearing, flies, trash, and bed rotting. Oh boy. Would you like to view the spoiler content? Heck no! Content. Wait, spoiler content warnings? Heck no. Render discretion is advised. Okay. Now, dear reader, let's begin. Okay. That whole content you just told me, is that gonna be a problem? How long has your life been like this? You haven't a clue. But given your situation, you don't care about that. Hello. Mysterious person. Rise and shine, Alice Abbott. I guess that's her name. Oh, wow. Ugh, what time is it? The time really shouldn't matter to you. Not when you're just gonna stay inside all day. Whatever. I'm just gonna do what I do best. Sit and watch TV. It's gotten so bad that you can't bring yourself to get out of bed. In order to look around, you find yourself having to click on everything in the room. Oh. Trash is piled up so much that it almost covers the window. I would take out the garbage if I didn't have to go outside. If you ever bother to clean that up, too much of a hassle when you already live in the filth. Well, that sucks. You're so tired most of the time that you can't even bring yourself to put the trash in here. Looks like the floor has become your trash bin for tissues. That's gross. Been meaning to call someone to fix this. Alas, the stench of rotting wood is nothing for you. Not when you live with the flies. Oh, shoot. You used to actually use this for studying. Now it just eats up energy you haven't paid for in weeks. Wow. You're grateful for this. Grateful that you don't have to go out for food. Otherwise you would have died long ago. Alright. It's you. Your sad, hermit little self. As if you didn't know that already. You would have lost your head without this lovely contraption. Wanna watch something? Okay, I'm not gonna... Wanna watch... Okay, well, I'm not gonna... Yeah. I'm not gonna be saying any of this. You switch the TV on. Just like every single day. People always tell you to be consistent. And here you are, consistently staying in bed and watching TV. Even though you do this every day, the TV's flickering light still burns your retinas. You switch through the channels. News, sports, questionable stuff, kids shows. You settle on my 30-day wedding. Yes, you know that just about everything in that show is staged. But you like it. You like seeing these people be so petty towards each other. Seeing them beat the shit out of each other or silly things like soap reminds you of why you're even here. I know that someone might think that I'm missing out on life, but I'm pretty fine missing out on people. Even if my 30-day wedding is staged, you can't help but feel that there's some level of truth to the pettiness. You remember how when you actually attended class, some boy began trying to prank you? If I prank, I don't mean silly little things like dialing random numbers. I mean crap like trying to dump acid on you. And it was all because I didn't want to work with him on the project. Oh wow, maybe I came across too harshly when rejecting him. Massive part of you believes that the world is a shitty place? I wouldn't say that, but the idea that maybe it's your fault is tempting? Okay, that's enough. You sit back and think of it some more. At least if there's something's your fault, you can fix it. You switch to the news channel. You feel like watching something informative. Good evening, citizens of Liberito City. Evening? You're not surprised, more disappointed in yourself than anything. You used to wake up at the crack of dawn to get shit done. Okay, now you wake up at the crack of dusk to lay and rot. You bring attention back to the TV. Thoughts aren't good for you. Today we bring you a grisly case. A murder. Just another one. And another one. Just like every day. Yes, I know that you see this like shit every day, but this is so bad that we have to show you. You zone out a bit while the reporter talks about the crime scene. About how the victim was found under Cardinal River with half of her face burned off and her breast torn. Oh, jeez. The victim was named Emma Greenwood. Your ears perk up. You remember that she was one of your classmates back when you went to class, and she was also one of the only people to check up on you. You're sure that she was a good person. She sure as hell didn't deserve to die in such a horrific way. Why is the world like this? I don't know. How is that you could do everything right and still have something horrible to happen to you? Okay, I know this is a horror game, but I didn't thought it was gonna turn into this kind of direction where everything's just gone to crap and everything's just awful. You decided to sleep again. Just like every night you don't dream. On one hand, if you don't dream, you can't remind yourself that this situation does suck. Plus, you don't have nightmares about how a stranger is gonna bust in to strangle you. On the other hand, sleep is getting boring without dreams. Sleep just constants of your random thoughts bouncing off of each other. It's too much like when you're awake. Rise and shine again. Oh, things got brighter. Even though you got well over half a day of sleep, your eyes are still glued shut. Not to mention that the sunlight makes you want to clamp your eyes. You don't enjoy sunlight. You don't even go to feel its warmth. It's just a nuance that something stops you from. You can't think of what it stops you from doing. What am I doing? What am I doing with my life? Rotting away. That's what. It's in moments like these where you question everything. No, you didn't question it when trash began piling up in your room. Nor did you question it when people showed up at your dorm with bills, letters, of expulsion, all that good stuff. Now that sunlight is hitting you, you question it. Well, okay, I'm pretty sure you all know where this is going, right? Part of you wants to go over to the window and cover it up with something. But you also don't want to see the dent you left in the bed from how long you laid here. It makes everything feel too real. You hide from the light under the wrinkled covers. You don't sleep under there. You lay awake. The sunlight barely penetrates the thin fabric, but it's better than your eyes being fried. There's nothing to distract you from your thoughts under the covers. Nothing but the faint buzzing of flies around the garbage. You try to make out little conversations the flies might be having. Anything to distract you from your mind. Jeez, I didn't thought this horror game was gonna get like this, like deep and dark. I know horror games are like dark and stuff. I didn't thought it was gonna get this dark. After what feels like an eternity, the room is dark again. As usual. You prop yourself up. Again. Just another night of nothing. That's what I expect. Just like every single night since you caged yourself in here. The only difference is that now you're realizing how miserable it is. You used to care about that crack in the wall, but now it's just decoration. Same thing here? No. Over here. You're just waiting for the day for that wall to completely fall apart. Even though you live in this dorm for some time, you never finish unpackaging. Looks like it's gonna stay that way. Looks like the floor has become your trash bin for tissues. Alright. About to clean that up. Too much hassle. It's only now that you realize how overpowering the stench is. You feel bad for whoever lives on this floor of the dorms. but that guilt isn't enough to drag you out. Why do you have a trash bin if you never use it? What's this red right here? Huh? What's this? That's what I said. You can't discern what it is. Maybe it's a plant of some kind? You don't know what it would be living off of. Maybe off of its food scraps under your bed? Maybe off of the decaying wood? No use in wondering about it, though. No use in wondering about anything now. You lay back down in bed, stomach completely empty. As the days go on, you feel like your head's becoming more empty. You can remember how, when you were younger, the lives of you and your sister were filled with joy and whimsy, as much as you could get in Bedrot City, at least. You know that your sister is off being productive, working in forensics of some kind. Heck, she's probably working on Emma Greenwood's case right as you rot. How would she feel if she saw me like this? Everyone in my family thinks I'm off getting some psychology degree. They all think I'm actually doing something with my life, when I'm just rotting. That's the best word for it. I used to be someone, now I'm just some husk. You remember when Emma came to check up on you? She asked if anything had happened. You tried to pinpoint what happened. You're still trying, to be quite frank. At least if something did happen to you. The state of your life would be justified, right? Maybe it wasn't a single bad thing that happened. Maybe it was a bunch of smaller things piling up. Even though you've spent the better part of the day sleeping, you're too tired to think. You just want to rest. It's been long overdue. I don't know about the overdue part. Oh my. Is it bright again? When you wake up, the sun is blaring on you and your little plant friend. Ugh. Why is there so much sunlight out there? Bedrot City is usually all dark and gloomy. Why is it all bright now at all times? Sometimes you like to think that it's sunny because you're not out there. Self-aggrandizing? I have no idea what that means, but... okay, funny. Hell yeah, at least it's funny in your mind. Seeing the sun out reminds me that everyone's out there doing stuff. At least in the night, people are doing what I do, for the most part. Eating, watching TV, and sleeping. But I know that's not true when the sun is shining. You lay back down again. You truly hate being reminded of what you could be doing instead of laying in bed all day. You know it's your fault that you're like this. You struggle to sleep through the day, lost in thoughts. I know that some people out there feel the exact way that I do, but it manifests so differently for people. Some people just turn to alcohol. Some people turn to adrenaline hunting. Some threw themselves into the work becoming more productive. Jeez. I think that any of those people are more productive than I am. Even the alcoholic adrenaline junkie, because at least they're putting themselves out into the world. Why do my feelings manifest in this way? Night falls yet again. Just like every single night. Do you know how insanity is defined? You really should, considering that you barely survived one semester of university. No answer? Ah, shucks. Explains why you stop attending class. Insanity is when you do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. That's exactly what you're doing. The thing is that I know nothing's gonna change. No shit. Okay, no shit, it isn't. I know that every single day is the same. But how different am I compared to other people then? Alright, good point. The way that you view it with regards to insanity, you're the same as most people. People go to university expecting to outshine their peers, even if they're refusing the same study habits from high school. People go to work every single day, doing random stuff for an apathetic boss, expecting that out of all the other employees, they'll be the ones to get rich. It's all the same to you. Except for the fact that society doesn't consider what you do to be productive. You do miss blissful ignorance. You hate being able to see the systems for what they are. You hate how you can't just go along with it like everyone else, even though it all is the same. The difference is that those people are happy, while I'm not. Aw, don't be such a Debbie Downer. Maybe you should watch some TV to return to your usual state of apathy. Okay, well, this has gone to dark turns and stuff like that. Okay, the thing about adrenaline junkies and, well, the alcoholic and stuff, yeah, please, don't do any of that, okay? I know this is a horror game, but none of this is like, I mean, viewer is discretion advised, okay? I'm not very sure how I can put that into, like, the description here. You used to care about that crack in the wall, but now it's just... Oh, wait, we already care about... Okay, wait a second. Surprised that no one's showed up at the door complaining about this. Yeah, I'm surprised about that, too. I'm seeing some leads here. I'll get to them in a moment. Could be trash bin issues. Looks like the TV's off. You don't remember turning it off. Guess that they finally cut the power. Seems why the lamp's off. This day was coming. And now your one source of entertainment is gone. All that can keep me occupied now are my thoughts or sleep. Why does it matter that the power's gone? Most of my time is spent sleeping and thinking away. Anyways, white noise rings in your mind, your stomach grumbles with hollowness, and your eyes just don't want to stay open. Regardless if you sleep for 3 or 18 hours, your eyes want to stay clamped, shut in eternal slumber. Your eyes give in, and darkness is all you see. Your other senses are heightened, but even they deal dull. You know that it smells slightly worse in here than usual. You're used to the stench of mold and rotting wood, but you're beginning to pick up the odor of decaying meat. The flies are gonna love it. You wake up from another dreamless night. That's good. Like to remind you of what you could be missing out on. And it's night. You either slept for only a few hours or for an entire day. I'm probably going to fall right back to sleep any minute. You're starting to wish that you stay asleep forever. The heck is this red stuff? This plant looks different from yesterday. Smells different too. You think that it might be the source of that decaying odor? Wouldn't make much sense, though. How could a plant be growing and decaying? Wait, what did it say? You wonder what this plant is feeding off to grow so quickly. Yeah. Another one? It's close to blocking off the exit. It's not like it matters. I was never going to leave in the first place. Quite the thought of despair here. But it's true, there's nothing out there for you. You're sure that no one in your family cares. You're sure that even if you finally did go out, you'd be miserable. Hell, the one person you remember being kind to you wound up dead. What does that matter? Does it mean that you have to resort to Esholary if you want to live? Wait, what? The worst part of all is that even after thinking about it, you don't know the root of your issues. Maybe it was a bunch of small things snowballing up to something massive, but you can't even figure out smaller things. Okay, that red plant that was like growing, I'm pretty sure it's like just growing because of her just rotting in bed. That's what's happening. He fell back to sleep for a long, long time, and again, it's dreamless. You've come to realize that maybe you don't dream because your mind itself is a prison. Oh no, the plant that's red, oh, it's getting worse. It smells like blood and guts are spread up around the room. You know, right? The scent of rot overpowers you. Okay. Access block, you're too late. The vines, rot, guts. The substance stays wrapped around you. You don't try to fight. Oh, you want to scream, but you're too tired. The strange tentacles poke through you, stitching you straight to the bed. Okay, I'm pretty sure there's like a life lesson here. You never intended to leave in the first place. Not for a long time, at least. But now that you're truly chained to the bed, you expect to regret it all. You don't. You had no dreams to live for. So your nightmares become your reality. End of Bedrot. Well, I guess they got into the game? I guess that's just how the end is. Okay, well, I guess that's the end of it, okay? Okay, so I guess the moral of the story is that even though it's nice to be in bed, you just can't be, like, in bed running away forever. And you can't, and of course, can't, like do that. You can't just stay in bed and run your life away like that. I mean, you gotta go out and do stuff. And if anything like this kind of happened, and you should just, like, consult a therapy or something, because, like, I've never actually played this horror game, and man, I didn't thought this was going to be a big dark turn and stuff. This was a bit interesting. It was actually quite interesting, but like I said before, it's, like, never stay in bed like all day, okay? Because that's just not good. It's just not healthy. And if you have like these kind of like feelings and sense, I mean, go talk to someone, okay, or your family members. Like, don't stay in bed forever and just wait for the day where it just no longer exists. I mean, it's just the name of the game, of course, but anyway, like, don't just take my advice and just get, like, someone to help you, or anyone in your family. And if you need to see a therapist too, yeah, go see a therapist too, because, I mean, all this is, like, horror, like, all dark and stuff, right? Okay, well, thank you all so much for watching. If you want to see more horror games, you can always, click the link down in the description below if you want to see, like, more games that I play too as well. And as always, I will see you all in the next video. Bye!